Hi and welcome to the launch of 3CX version 16. I'm Galea and I'm going to kick off with a presentation of the key new features followed by a live Q&A session. Now version 16 is a seemingly small step for 3CX, but a big step for communications. It offers new ways to improve customer service and boost employee productivity, and at the same time ease system admin and of course cut costs. In V16 we've taken 3CX beyond unifying communications between team members and extended it to improve customer service, allowing you to communicate in more ways and more effectively. We've improved our call center features, added contact center functionality and beefed up CRM integration. We added more tools to monitor service quality, including a web switchboard. We redesigned call queuing based on our experience in our 170,000 installations worldwide. It's now more performant, more scalable, more extendable. And one of the first new additions is skill-based routing, which allows you to route calls based on an agent's skill. Normally the domain of expensive call center systems, we offer this at a fraction of the cost as part of our Enterprise Edition. But skill-based routing is just the start. Expect more call center features to follow in upcoming updates. Customers these days don't just want to be able to call your main number, they want to reach out to you by chat from your website and be able to talk if necessary. So we built a brand new contact center feature which allows your customers to contact you by chat or even call you from your website. The same agents that handle calls can now also handle chats. The great thing is the chat can be elevated to a call to speed up customer service. The contact center feature is called 3CX Live Chat and Talk and comes free with each version of 3CX. The advantages of 3CX Live Chat and Talk over other similar systems are that the customer does not need to switch to PSTN after chatting with you, making it more seamless for the customer. Agents don't need to learn and use two interfaces, and administrators don't need to manage multiple systems. And best of all, you can save yourself thousands of dollars per year by avoiding to pay for a separate live chat system. Here's how it works. You install the Wordpress plugin or add code to your website. You can then configure the connection, the chat box, and on which pages it should be active. From that point onwards, website visitors can chat and call you free of charge, and agents can answer right from the 3CX web client. The feature is still in beta, so expect many more features to be added soon. And what's customer service without knowing who your customer is? We improved server-side CRM integration, now supporting more systems and more integration functions, including journaling. We support inbuilt CRM dialer apps for seamless integration into the CRM interface. You will have a complete trail of customer communications before you answer the call. Essential to delivering quality customer service is the ability to monitor when and how your customers are being helped. Version 16 has improved in this area with a new web-based switchboard to monitor calls and chats, better call reporting and call recording, making it more practical to record calls and monitor responses. It's imperative to monitor that calls are being answered timely. The new web-based switchboard is optimized to keep it in the right corner of your screen for easy monitoring without interrupting your work. More views are on the way. A leaderboard is scheduled for an upcoming update. Call reports were something of a weak point in 3CX because of the way the queue engine was architected. Now with the new queue engine we could address this weakness and revamp the call reports. We addressed many inaccuracies and bugs. Look for new reports being added in future updates. Now the call recording feature is an essential part of any call center, both for quality monitoring and compliance purposes. We revamped this feature. All call data is now stored in a database and you can transcribe the first minute of each call for greater searchability. The recordings themselves can be stored on a remote NAS or Google Drive, easing phone system management. Recordings will no longer inflate disk space usage, which not only speeds up the backup and restore process, but also allows you to use smaller cloud instances, further cutting your monthly expenses. Beyond customer service, we added many employee productivity features, including seamless Office 365 integration, a built-in web-based soft phone, and outbound CRM integration. We enhanced the web client's UI and beefed up our corporate chat and video conferencing. V16 now uses the latest Microsoft Office API, which means you can use it with any Office 365 subscription, starting with the low-cost Business Essentials package. Seamlessly sync 3CX users with Office 365. That means if you add or delete a user in Office 365, it'll do the same on 3CX automatically. Contacts are synced for all users without having to configure an impersonation account. And finally, Calendar Sync allows you to automatically change status based on a user's calendar. The Webrtc soft phone was available in beta on 15.5 but is now release quality. Use it to give everyone in your company a soft phone, regardless of OS and without having to install and update a local app. You can even use Sennheiser headsets. 15.5's text functionality has been upgraded to be on par with WhatsApp. Besides having the same functionality, it also works in the same way, so that users are instantly familiar with it. We added the ability to send files and use emoticons. And in Update 1, you're going to see the ability to transfer or archive a chat as well as run chat reports. This will be crucial for the contact center feature. One feature that could not be configured from the web client that was possible in the Windows soft phone was the ability to configure BLFs for your extension, saving the admin a lot of time. We've now added this, as well as improved the look and feel of the call toasters. It's now much clearer and easier to switch between your web soft phone, your desk phone, or your Android or iOS app. Top CRMs include an inbuilt dial pad which integrates outbound calling into the CRM interface. This logs calls automatically and does not require staff to switch away from their CRM. The feature will be delivered in Update 1, initially for Salesforce, but later also for Freshdesk, Zoho, and other CRM systems. If you're still paying big bucks for your WebEx or Zoom video conferencing service, you no longer need to. 3CX has moved its web meeting MCUs to Amazon for better reliability, improved bandwidth usage, and scalability, meaning your meetings can now deliver better quality video to more participants. Screen sharing no longer requires the Chrome extension, and last but not least, your participants can dial in by phone. At 3CX, the system admin is never forgotten. To make your lives easier, we've upgraded security, made 3CX run Raspberry Pis, we added a multi-instance manager to monitor and manage 3CX instances. The Instance Manager helps manage multiple 3CX systems, ideal for partners and larger customers. Via the 3CX portal server, you can apply updates to many systems in one go. You can monitor for critical issues, such as low disk space or stopped services. Future updates will bring SIP trunk and SBC connection monitoring, critical security events, as well as the ability to perform remote bandwidth tests. As hackers become more aggressive, a PBX must constantly improve its security features. Version 16 does just that. The new global protection system automatically populates your blacklist with known hacker IPs discovered by other 3CX systems. 3CX components were updated to the latest version, an absolute must to keep your PBX secure. Remember, running old versions or software with old components is a sure way to get hacked. You can also now lock down your management console by IP. Small companies that would rather have the PBX on-premise can buy a standard Raspberry Pi and create a rock-solid $40 SMB PBX. To make this possible, 3CX introduced many memory and CPU optimizations which are beneficial to all users, especially those using smaller cloud instances. Other features include RTCP stats so that you can better troubleshoot call quality problems, the ability to copy extension settings, and usability features such as single click to edit and the ability to drag and drop BLF priorities. And as if 3CX wasn't competitively priced enough, we've upped the ante by reducing pricing across the board by as much as 40% and increasing the license size of our free edition. We changed the feature levels for each edition to be easier to understand and added additional license sizes for flexibility. Not only did we decrease pricing, we also added more license options, which means you don't need to buy a bigger license unnecessarily. With our annual licensing option, it's easy to upgrade at any time to more calls or a bigger edition, real time and without penalties. The new standard edition is now focused on smaller companies that do not require queues, call reporting or recording. This allowed us to make the entry-level 3CX up to 40% less. Furthermore, up to 8 SIM calls, 3CX is now free perpetually. Current standard users will be upgraded to Pro free of charge. The Pro edition remains largely the same, with the difference that in most cases the new pricing will be up to 20% cheaper. Pro features are enabled on each license key for the first 40 days to allow feature evaluation. Compared to the standard, the Pro edition adds call queues, reporting, recording, Office and CRM integration. The Enterprise edition continues to gain features for which previously enterprises would have had to pay 10 times more than the price of 3CX. We added more granular recording control, skill-based routing, inbuilt failover, advanced integration with enterprise CRMs such as Salesforce. Now some general notes on licensing. Annual is now the best option, with perpetual being close to 3 times the price of annual. New license sizes and the 4 and 8 SIM call versions are only available as an annual license. And just a friendly reminder, what maintenance or annual license includes, it's well worth the money. Even just SSL certs and DNS service by themselves will cost more to obtain and configure. Keep your maintenance current to retain access to security updates, new IP phone firmwares, web meeting, and the smartphone apps. So just to let you know that quite soon after the release of version 16, we plan to release update 1, which will have the new CFD, which allows you to make more powerful call flows. Furthermore, we'll release chat improvements and the final version of our SQL database integration, which allows you to query caller IDs against the SQL server. And update 2 is going to bring much improved SBC, including management and monitoring from the management console. We're also going to be launching improved DNS compatibility, which will ease VoIP provider configuration. Other things that will surely make it into upcoming updates are easier failover configuration, input of DID ranges, a REST API for outbound calling, and the leaderboard. So that's version 16 for you. For more details, go to 3cx.com. And now for the live Q&A with Stefan and myself.
My name is Stefan Walther, CEO of 3CX, and welcome for our live Q&A sessions after the fabulous presentation of our new version 16. So thank you all for your comments already in the chat. And I think we should immediately start with one of the big topics you brought out, which was Office 365 integration, which I believe is one of the best features inside of 3CX.
I think so too, yeah.
Which helps administrators very easily to integrate or just in one place manage their users rather than have two different systems of doing it. And of course, we have just started by integrating Office 365 into our product. And one of the common requests was how to integrate maybe SSO so that the users don't need to remember different passwords in order to log into their web client and so on. So easing not just for the admin, but also for the users. So it's probably something we're going to work on in the near future. So keep an eye to what we basically deliver in the future, but it's just a start.
Yeah, excellent. There was a good question from Nick Lunder, so that's something we're going to work on, single sign-on. I also saw before a question about SBC, so that didn't make it in this release, but in update 2, which will be another few months, you're going to see a major update to the SBC, and what you'll be getting is remote installation, remote provisioning. You can change the password, you can manage it from the for the management console and also monitor it, but also the performance will be much better. Yeah, we've already tested up to 100 clients, but probably we'll be able to manage more with the final release version. So that'll be in a few months' time an update to the SBC functionality.
Which is also a great place again for an administrator to have a single point rather than connecting to all the remote locations, updating their SBCs. Maybe switching even configurations of a phone from one SBC to another without basically making a touch on the remote side. So I believe it's a well appreciated request in the future. And people can still enjoy using it on Linux, Windows, PIs in all ways.
I saw also, just to make it clear, I already said it in the presentation, but there are a lot of people not. Just to be clear, so everybody who has a standard edition, who paid for their standard edition or even was upgraded free of charge last year in the update we did, will get the Pro edition completely free of charge. Yeah, so there'll be upgrade from standard to Pro is free.
Yeah, maybe to explain a little bit the process, what the users need to undergo to get it. So as you said, every commercial user in this sense will get Pro. So the matter is simply upgrade to version 16. And what will happen is that on installation and the first time activation of your current license key, it will be automatically upgraded to the same flavor in Pro. So that with the reorganization of the features between standard, Pro and enterprise, basically the customers continue using their PBX as they used to be before, plus additional features they didn't have before.
Yeah, and if you don't want the Pro edition and you want to switch to the free edition, if that's enough for you, or the standard edition, you can switch back. But the first year you'll get free of charge.
Yeah, good question from the technology group regarding the instance manager, if we are bringing it to Windows. For the moment, not yet, due to the architecture we use behind it. We're not planning to do it immediately. It's very popular already from our customers and being used. I believe that the soon part is that we bump up at first the feature set we have currently, things in the pipeline, remote bandwidth testing, but not just simple bandwidth testing, but latency testing for call quality, how many calls your PBX can run on the existing internet line. So you can tell with the customers, okay, your internet is working for 64 SE just fine. If you want to scale higher, you need to bump up a little bit your upload speed or download speed accordingly to your line.
Yeah, good. Seeing a question here, where can we generate demo licenses? Well, from version 16 onwards, all the licenses have 40 days Pro enabled. Yeah, so you can go to the website, you can get your key. The first year it's free, unlimited number of SIM calls. Yeah, and the first 40 days Pro. So there's no need for demo licenses anymore. It's by default from the website.
Yeah, from the website, also for our valued partners, of course, in the customer portal, we have our ability to generate for their customers license keys. So they don't require the customer by themselves to go through the process of registration. So you can do it on behalf of your customers and maybe set up a PBX in the cloud so that you can demo it immediately for the customer.
Yeah.
Call flow designer.
Yeah. Okay. So the call flow designer is has been updated. We need basically till update 1. In update 1 it'll be back in beta, and update 1 will take, roughly, we can't say exact time, roughly about a month, from now. And the CFD will be there,
Yeah, but it will be worth the time.
Exactly.
To wait for this feature, because yes, it is the CFD and it was the CFD, but its behavior inside the PBX enables partners and customers to do so much more.
Yeah.
How the interaction with the PBX is to attach data, because before you could maybe match against the database who is calling you due to a PIN number or data you store, but this information was then lost by transporting these informations to your web client or into your CRM system. But now these information can be carried forward, which improves, of course, customer service unbelief, because you will know before you pick up the phone you are talking to.
And another things you'll be able to do with the new CFD, for example, is almost create your own custom queue strategy. So the whole queue engine becomes programmable. So the power will be amazing. So that will be in the new CFD.
Yeah. Jack asked about the capabilities of the Raspberry Pi. Right? Yes, it's tested up to 8 SIM calls for our customers, but please follow the guidelines of the setup of the Pi, because you need heat sinks due to the device is passively cooled. Right? So in order that when we require a lot of CPU usage for a short time, but over the time the device would go too hot, and very important, buy a proper power supply piece.
Yeah, yeah. So let me see the
3CX live chat is for free, and in which edition?
Yeah, okay. So this is actually a very cool new feature, I think, of 3CX live chat. It's going to be free for all editions. Yeah, so even in the standard, but of course, if you want to be able to answer with a group, like a group of agents, like in a queue, you need the queue functionality. So then you'll need the Pro edition. But the basic functionality will be in all versions. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it gives, for the customer service, a complete different way of interacting with maybe future customers or existing customers, which maybe in newer generations have hesitations of picking up the phone to ask a question, maybe as minor or as big it is. So they rather prefer to leave a little message and want to have a timely answer to it. Or maybe then being referred to a phone call if the subject is of interest and they would like to spend a bit more time. So you can pick up customers much earlier, I think, from your website and basically bring them into your telephony system to engage with them.
Yeah, yeah.
Perpetual maintenance X524. Let's see.
I'm seeing a lot of questions about CRM packages. Yeah. So there's thousands of CRM packages there, and we cannot support them all. So you really, if you want to have specific smaller CRM packages supported, you have to also speak to your CRM vendor who can build support for 3CX really in just a few days. If they know their own system, they can do it in 1 or 2 days. So this would be the way to go. Not only come to 3CX, but also speak to your CRM vendor if they can support more phone systems.
Yeah. It came again the question when more or less update 1 will come regarding the CFD. As we said, that we're working towards April to do it. But maybe in this occasion we would maybe ship an alpha version out for update 1. So our customers can pre-check already their scripts they had. So it gives them basically time to update their scripts and place them in the correct order. Because there's so many functions that you not just for every little feature need to make your own app. You can have one app which contains multiple functions inside of it. So this is something we're looking into.
Yeah. Got a question.
All features, both on Windows and on Debian, also Windows and Linux. In version 15.5, there were a little bit in comparisons between the both versions, if we should mention them. One of both was a very highly in demand feature which was running in Windows, which database queries from ODBC. Now, it's not so easy to bring ODBC functionality to Linux. Therefore, we actually got an extra mile for this situation, whereby we integrated database queries to Windows, Postgres, I'm saying, MS SQL, Postgres, MongoDB, or MySQL. So you can use them as a CRM with the ability not just to retrieve data from your customer and import them into your 3CX phone book, but also when the call finished to basically insert commands into your database. So if you have a third-party CRM system which completely relies on the database structure without API capabilities, REST API, then this is basically how you basically can implement those.
Excellent, yeah. I'm seeing a good question from the technology group about video conferencing on the 3CX apps. That's something we're working on. Yeah. So that you can easily elevate the call to video, maybe add other calls into the call as well, other parties into the call with video as well. Yeah. So you don't have to schedule a web meeting, but you can just elevate the call to video. Something we're working on, only for the iOS and the Android apps, of course. Yeah, and the web client.
There are actually two good questions which passed by. One, skill-based routing for queues.
Okay.
Right, which came actually during the presentation. And the secondary is a little bit about our certification. If it's version 16, I'll start with the certification first. Yes, all our certification and certification material on our website Academy has been updated to version 16. There's a fresh set of videos, all referencing to version 16. And the certification you would take basically since last Friday would be in relation to version 16 to ease a little bit the pain and not to start worries. For existing partners, as many things have remained the same inside the business, for the core of the PBX as it functions, you don't need to retake the certification to maintain your partner levels.
Yeah.
Skill-based routing. We managed to go from 40 queues we run ourselves down to 12.
Okay.
Due to basically the implementation of skill-based routing. Maybe I can talk through how we
go ahead.
queues.
Yeah, good.
So generally we had inbound queues to different departments for different languages, and when the agent couldn't answer, actually we built another queue underneath this in order to fetch the people rather than losing them in a different department, a customer service department, and so on, to basically deliver an answer timely from the representative of 3CX.
Yeah.
Which of course was very complicated if you run queue reports, because you not only needed to look in one queue, you needed to look in another queue.
Yeah.
And it became messy, people logged out in one and not signed in the other. And therefore we have now skill-based, and you can define a level for a user, and the queue will automatically hunt for the best agent, which is the lowest skill-based number. And if none of those is available, then actually the higher skill-based group is selected. So we basically could merge our 40 queues into 12.
Perfect.
To make a greater visibility, who is engaged, who is just talking, who can help out. And I think it will simplify for our customers dramatically the amount of queues they need and the admin work behind it.
Exactly, yeah. I'm just seeing the other one. Any plans? Which one? Will we support multicast? We already support multicast paging on the system, and we have done for a long time actually. SMS integrations, that's interesting. Question from Anthony Di Michele. We're looking into that, but the problem with that is that every SIP trunk has its own way of doing it. So we're thinking of other ways to incorporate text messaging. Yeah, but that's something we're definitely looking at. I also saw before in-place upgrade. That's possible with the Linux version, but not with Windows. That's just the way it is. So in Linux, it's possible. In Windows, it'll never be possible. That's just the way the architecture of the operating systems are. So for Linux, in-place upgrade.
In-place upgrade.
In fact, if you had automatic updates set, it would automatically upgrade your PBX. Yeah, some people didn't want it like that, but just for future reference. So it automatically upgrades it if you're on Linux.
Yeah. Let's come back shortly to the SPC. Will the limit of 50 phones still apply, or are we going to increase it?
No, we're going to go beyond that. So right now, we've already tested with 100 clients. Yeah. Probably we'll be able to do more. So we're definitely going to go way beyond the 50, maybe beyond the 100. Yeah. So the SPC is something that we're really focusing on. You're going to see massive improvements there.
Yeah. To come, will the mobile phone devices fail over between Wi-Fi and LTE to support this very soon? It is something we are clearly looking into it, because as we discussed it maybe earlier, in certain places in our office, I have an invisible red line on the floor where I know I need to currently hold, because after my Wi-Fi signal would be gone. We are at the moment already testing certain ways how to overcome this.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it will greatly improve for everybody the way how you can use the flexibility of our smartphone clients in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A question, soft phone for Linux. The direction is really the web soft phone. So you can use Google browser or Firefox browser, and you could make the calls from there. That's really the future. We use that in our own office here on Chrome OS, by the way. So that's the way to go for us. Windows soft phone clients, there will always be a soft phone client for Windows, yeah, but it will be mainly a soft phone, not so much a full 3CX client. That will be the web client.
So many questions at the moment coming in. It's hard to keep track. So we're trying our best here for you to get through the bottom of each and every answer.
I saw a good one of live chat. Can we go up?
Live chat, surely.
Can this be updated to persistent when the camera is in front?
Yeah. If somebody had a question regarding live chat, please post it again. Of course, it's a hot topic in version 16 to deliver higher customer service. So. Update from 15.5 to 16 is a backup and a restore. On how do you do this? Trev Austin. Now we need to discuss the difference between if you're based on Linux or if you're based on Windows for this update question. Linux users, you can just inline upgrade, just hit the update button within the PBX and automatically your PBX will be transformed into version 16. For the Windows user, backup, uninstall, install and restore of your existing backup needs to be performed. Has something to do that we updated a lot of security components inside the PBX which were not inline updatable. To name a couple of them is the web server engines we are using, Postgres databases below. So everything which is related to security, unfortunately that was not possible in this time as we did it between 15 and 15.5. So I hope that for a longer period of time that we can basically stay even for Windows user in inline upgrades.
Yeah. I've got here a question about the live chat. Will it work with WordPress and Joomla? At the moment we have a WordPress plugin. It's just, there is a script. You can easily update this script and make it work with any website. Yeah, it's just that the WordPress plugin, it's installing a plugin, it's very easy. Yeah, we will make the script, it's already available, so you can go to our website, there's a blog post, you can make it for any system. We'll make that even easier in future versions. But that's the main difference. Okay, for WordPress it's the biggest system and it's the easiest to use the plugin, but it works with all systems. Yeah.
Simon Templer is asking if the CFD is scriptable from Linux or you need a GUI client for Windows in creating the call flow clients. Technically speaking, the call flow client or the GUI to create them is an assistance of the code the PBX will execute after. So you can review the code later in any kind of browser or IDE as you wish and make your modifications. But maybe something where you can use scripting much more is basically our increased IVR services. Right? Before we only had the standard DTMF inputs from 0 to 9 where a destination has been targeted. But I think for many of our customers, the advantages of the new IVR services that you can make PIN numbers and based on those an action will be taken is a very easy way. But if you want to go easily without CFD a step forward and you're a guru in PHP and Python or in PowerShell.
C sharp.
So you can write code inside the IVRs which return an exit code and will route dynamically on what the current situation is in your database or where you ever want to retrieve the data from. So maybe for many customers a CFD is not even required in order to do the call flows.
What is good about the CFD, by the way, is that it will also output to C sharp. So you can use the CFD, you can make a script, it will generate a C sharp for code for you, and then you can edit it from there onwards. Yeah. Okay. The CFD editor requires Windows, but from there onwards you can use anything as long as you know C sharp. So it's actually much more programmable because the old CFD would create a compiled file that you couldn't touch. Now you get all the C sharp source code, and you can use it as a template, as a base to adjust it more. Yeah.
Indeed. Let me answer a little bit of a German question. Datev server CRM integration in version 16. Unfortunately, the Datev integration currently have remained a client-side integration. We are already in talks with Datev about a new product they have, and if we can connect to a central place inside the Datev application to also allow this functionality, so users can also, with Datev, use the web client in order to perform their calls or their daily routine and workflows. So it's something that we're having our eye out. Timeline can't give for the moment.
Yeah, but they can continue using the current integration for Datev, so we definitely know that's a big system. Will it be possible to change the web meeting UI language when I create a meeting? That's interesting, we need to check that out. SSO, we saw that before, I'm seeing it appear again, so that's something we want to do for the web client to make the login easier.
I see a confusing message. Pro users have to upgrade to Enterprise to keep using hot desking. No, hot desking remained as feature of the Pro edition, so no update is required in order to keep the functionality.
I saw a message earlier about the user who had bought the Pro upgrade, not knowing that the upgrade would be free. So please contact customer service, about that, and we'll see what we can do. If you only bought it recently, we'll see what we can do about that.
Yeah.
Please update prices on the website. I think we would have done that now. So in general, you see it's up to 40% standard for the standard edition. Just to repeat, the standard edition, of course, has a few features less, but the discounts are up to, it's down by about 40%, and the Pro up to 20%. Depends which version,
Is the live chat module system-wide? Live chat, if you talk about the chat between extension internally, that can be globally disabled in the settings of the PBX if you do not wish to use this functionality completely.
Yeah. Web client in Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is dead. It's going to be Chrome or Firefox only.
Well, the new Internet Explorer runs on Chromium, and most likely with this on the same fundamentals as
it will work,
Chrome OS on itself. So I cannot tell you, of course, I haven't seen the browser yet or tried it, but the chances are high that even the standard pre-installed Microsoft browser will be compatible with our web meeting platform, or even to use it as Webrtc dialer from the 3.6 web client, of course.
Yeah. So we have...
Can I integrate the Android tab with live chat?
I don't understand how that...
I believe it's a little bit situation.
Well, you can, if the question is, can you use the Android app to answer, let's say, customer requests coming in from your website, then the answer is yes, because the cool thing is that the live chat will just create normal 3CX chat messages, So you can answer them from any client that you're using.
And if your client is currently not open informed, you will receive push messages about chat.
Right?
So even on the go, you will be informed that you have a customer waiting, and you can take actions in order to have a chat conversation with him or with her. So,
Okay, it seems we have to fix the pricing page. We'll do that.
Prices are up to date on the website. Before coming here today, I had a brief review. If we left, we updated so many pages on our website in accordance to this live stream today, and we started last Friday already in particular parts of being ready from here. So I think we should be in a good shape. If you see something which is wrong, we are more than happy to fix it swiftly.
So is standard free perpetually? 8SC, or can you? That is the error there.
Sure.
And do you lose mobile apps? No, so the standard up to 8 will be free perpetually, although it's an annual license, so it gets renewed every year automatically, free of charge, and includes the mobile apps. What it doesn't include, to be clear, that requires a Pro edition, is call reports, call queues, bridges. Those are the ones I think mainly.
So I was just reading upon further questions which are coming. But generally what is in Standard and Pro, the comparison sheet has been updated on our website, which highlights the key components inside the system. So,
CRM integration,
for clarification, it's just in there. Right.
4SC Enterprise went up in price, Will documentation be updated?
Yes,
it's already updated. Can generic trunks be updated to not change the trunk status on the dashboard? No.
Walter Santos found version 16 amazing. I think all we at 3CX exactly think the same. And it's just the beginning of what is all still coming after. And we're looking greatly forward to ship out this thing.
What about recording manager granular access? So who can have access to the recordings or not? We have it to some extent, but that's definitely an area which we want to improve upon in future versions. The recordings, who can have access to the recordings.
But the first improvement towards this idea you already see inside the PBX, that you can share recordings with other parties or give visibilities to other parties to recordings of a certain group. So as you see, we started already putting right management on top of the recording system. It's just the start of all the things we try or would like to do with it, but sometimes you have 1,000 ideas, and when you try them, it pans out that it's either not customer friendly, too complicated to set up, or nobody will get it, and in all three cases, then it's a feature we don't want to ship, and we need to take a little bit more time to think about it.
So we have...
when it will be able to dial in web conferences. When you install version 16, you already can start dialing into web conferences. How that works, inside the PBX is a bridge link into your personal web meeting service where you can hold your normal conference. So if you invite people to a web meeting, they get two links, one link and a telephone number provided. So one is for the web users where you can interact with everybody with picture, remote control, screen sharing, and so on. But if you have somebody who is on the go and is not interested to see the picture but would like to discuss with you, they basically just call your conference room number and can participate via voice with the conference.
Yeah. I saw a good question about from Farid. Do you have a plan to do the admin and user logs? I assume you mean like logging what the administrator does. Yes, that's something on our that's something on our radar. Yeah, to make a how do you call it? A system log, audit log. Yeah. So let's go down.
So, but the audit log, I think, in general, will cover all the points of who adds an extension, who changes an DID from to value to be stored, not too complex, but I think it will help in bigger installations where you have multiple administrators as well to understand what the reason being somebody else has made, so you can revert to what it was before.
I've seen a lot of questions about ConnectWise, by the way. That's definitely, we have ConnectWise integration. We're definitely going to look at it again and see if it needs updating. You know, ConnectWise itself went through some changes, but that's on our radar. That's something we want to improve. Some questions about multi-tenant. No, multi-tenant in our opinion is not the future. For that we have the instance manager. So you can deploy easily in the cloud. As you know, of course, Google, Amazon, and then the instance manager to manage all your instances wherever they are. That's the future for 3CX. We believe it's a feature of the market as well. So multi-tenant, not for 3CX.
Yeah, and the instance manager also supports a hybrid cloud or mixed cloud where you can have customers in Google, Amazon, Azure, or just starting out in Lightsoil, but you also can maintain some of your customers which are on-premise, all underneath one dashboard. And we're working towards the idea that you will get a full functional ops panel, right? Where you can just look at the whole day and we will pre-actively tell the administrator, this call didn't look so great and the second one neither, so better go and connect with the customer before the customer connects with you and is complaining that something is not working. So you will get total insight to your customers, what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Will you be adding functionality to the instance manager? Yes, we've got a whole list of features coming up. That's actually Stefan's baby. So we're definitely looking at that. You know, we have zip trunk monitoring, all these things that you basically from this portal you can manage it.
Yeah, but maybe on the hot topic as we had it before, when we bring in the SPC to the management console of the PBX, we actually go into one step further and we'll bring it to you in the instance manager. So you can see in one place again that from 20 systems you are maintaining that all the SPCs are.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also seeing Autotask. Okay, we want to do ConnectWise, but Autotask, we're aware of that as well. So these are the type of CRM integrations we'll definitely consider. It depends also very often on the company itself. So if you're a good customer, for example, Autotask, please feel free to connect with Autotask and stress also the importance of 3CX to you, because that helps us a lot when they help us make the integration. Yeah.
But will enterprise failover support on-premise to cloud, which of course is a very common request that when you have a problem with your local server room or your local network environment, internet access, to fail over in the cloud. We are working bit by bit in the idea to basically eliminate the difference between local LAN provisioning, which is required for an on-premise telephone, and a stun provisioning phone to be in the cloud, to basically merge them into one that we actually will support to move a live PBX running from on-premise, and then you set up just a PBX Express and deploy it there, and with a few changes maybe to your internal DNS to redirect all your traffic to the cloud. For the moment, the easiest would be actually to use an SBC, but we're working on the ideas, and let's see, it goes a little bit in hand with the roaming between Wi-Fi and LTE of the 3.6 phone client, so we are on it.
I see a question from the technology group. If we're installing a system for 5-year life cycle, should we be installing Linux? Well, I have to say, the way we've architected 3CX, we're indifferent to what operating system. So it's not that we have a preference for Windows or Linux. But I have to say, if it's going to be the cloud, and that's where it looks where many things are going, Linux is simply much easier. If you look at, for example, Amazon or Google, it's just easier with Linux. But you can choose whichever is best for you. Whatever you feel more comfortable in managing.
I think to the big extent you save on the license cost, right? But
Yeah.
if an administrator is much more familiar with Windows and it's his choice to administrate Windows machines, you can do the same. So it's not so much what we want you to do, it's more or less what is your choice, where do you feel comfortable with to deploy and to maintain it. So just go out and pick one of both. In Linux we have a little bit more freedom and capabilities actually to maintain the subsystem. The Windows updates of the other side is where people use system services to do so, whereby in Linux we have a little bit more the freedom to do it for you as a managed service.
Yeah. Although, I think people have very sometimes written off on-premise. For many companies, the way their company structure is, where they have just an office, then on-premise makes perfect sense. And if you're using Windows servers in that office, just use it on Windows. Absolutely fine. So we are not ruling out Windows. Our architecture is multi-platform.
I need to scroll slightly up because the message is flying quickly through again.
Ringtones on SNOM, you're the SNOM expert.
Well, ringtones on SNOM, we already introduced an update in 15.5, so you can control partially the ringtones in the system. Now with version 16 and some changes we made in the Q architecture, this improves as well the same. Now there's one last standing matter which we are solving with SNOM at the moment, that contacts which are in your phone book basically are differently matched, rather if they're internal and external, and a separate ringtone has been played for them. So let's see how we can address this in the future, but this is a two-sided party we need to address.
Yeah. I'm seeing phone book improvements. Yes, definitely something we're getting to. It's one of those things that always gets pushed back, unfortunately. But yeah, we know some small features we want to add and we can add. Yeah. ASP.NET Core. Power, we're built on .NET Core for the tech guys, and that's why we're multi-platform.
Yeah.
Video calls on Android, we're doing it first on iPhone, but it will also come to Android.
For the really geeky ones, ASP.NET Core Power version 16, we have to say, is now in both sides, Windows and on Linux, based on .NET Core. Whereby before it used normal .NET in Windows and .NET Core on Linux. Now they're both 100% on par in their functionality terms.
And I have to say kudos to Microsoft for that, because it's an amazing platform, .NET Core, which we're leveraging, and Microsoft did a really good job there, and that made it possible for us to be multi-platform.
I'm going a little bit to the question regarding LDAP, and it will be supported from natively the PBX itself. The answer will be no. The replacement of this is a little bit Office 365, which to a big extent is built on Azure directory, while there are ways how you can synchronize your local Active Directory to Azure, which then later offers the two-factor authentication, which with a single Active Directory you could not do. Of course, there's a processes we need to get to, because the APIs of Microsoft in this area are new, but as soon as they come out, we check always if we can integrate them, another feature to it, to basically make it feel one system. Admin has only one central point where he needs to work on, and again, this increases security, because I can't remember my password 1234, the problem is already foreseeable.
Yeah. I see some questions about web meeting codec. So 3CX builds on Webrtc. As you know, Webrtc is VP8. That's for us the future. It's also royalty free. And that's devices, you'll have to look for devices that support VP8. There are many. And of course, 3CX will support it internally.
Goram is asking if we can support on-premise installation, the 3.6 Instance Manager. Yes, you can.
Okay, yeah,
in
good.
the mixed cloud. So as long as you have a connectivity to the central server, then yes, you can do so.
Yeah, recorded.
In many cases now we have a little bit the repetition of the questions. So,
Yeah, the ones that we didn't
if you
answer.
just joined us maybe later, then advise to play back maybe the video later. I think it will be in our YouTube channel. So many of the questions are addressed already. So when you see us not answering to them now anymore, that means more or less we have answered them before. So please excuse us.
Will the chat use up SIM calls? No. But I have to say again, the live chat, the really cool feature about it is that, because there's hundreds of little live chat systems that just do text. But of course 3CX is going to deliver that when you can't do it just with chat, and that I think happens, I'm sure everybody's experienced companies where they're trying to interact with text chat and they won't explain it. And that's where 3CX is going to be different. So that when you want to take it from text chat, you want to say, okay, let me explain this to you on a call. Then you can do it in place, and of course that will go towards your SIM calls. Yeah, but I think if you're a company and you can offer this, you can really improve your customer service. Yeah. So only when it be escalated to a call will it count against your SIM calls.
A question about push in an iOS. I think the question comes more or less from the question that iOS or mobile phone devices is a lot of bring your own device market, which company leveraging, and actually even employees want it nowadays.
Yeah.
With the difference is that when you bring your personal device to work and you leave work, maybe for most of our customers or users, it would be nice that the phone becomes private again, to the matter that phone calls will not so dominant be shown on the device. We're working on some ideas at the moment. The best one which pan out that we put it a little bit to the profile rules, so you can switch in between your profile rules to see if you want to get these messages or you don't want to get these messages, which then basically the user has again the control over if you on his private time, on his private device, wants to be targeted by the company or not. And I think that should be a workable solution. We need to try it a little bit out, how it pans out.
I'm seeing a message from Technology Group where they deployed 3CX to 20,000 users. Well done. So those are the kinds of systems that we're looking for. More of those, please, if you have. Yeah, that's great to hear.
Failover in an active-active scenario. Now, active-active always has a big problem behind it because it means it needs to share resources. And when it shares resources, is in the most common places that when you have a failure in those, that basically both front-end facing systems don't operate anymore. And a big mistake could be that the administrator deletes a complete trunk with all its DIDs. If you would have now an active-active system, you will see this problem actually mirrors to the secondary side immediately. Therefore, we opted to an active-passive mode, in the sense that the secondary server starts, but in a well-known working configuration for every user. Yes, there are the drawbacks that the current calls don't work, they interrupt, but better that the customer can call you in the second go again, rather than that on the second server which took over, you can't call neither. So this is why our approach will remain active-passive.
Yeah. I saw some comments about Microsoft Teams integration. Well, the integration that's possible is very limited, first of all. We basically would act as a SIP trunk. And also it required the cooperation of Microsoft. At the moment, Microsoft, they themselves decided they want to stick to Teams only. So you'd have to pose that question to Microsoft.
Yeah. A couple of questions always came in regarding Pci compliance, and now Pci compliance is a very big topic which we probably cannot cover here in the next 20 hours. So what we did already in version 15.5 is that we updated the chippers of the web servers where we have phone provisioning running on to basically strict it or basically have it open to remain compatibility with older devices you have in your office. So you can restrict that down. There's a secondary part which would be SIP TLS for secure VoIP calling. Yeah. This at the moment doesn't follow suit, as we need to work much more here with the vendors in order to allow us to use the same compatibility or PCI Compliance. If you have more questions regarding PCI Compliance, we have actually a dedicated team at 3CX answering your questions. Of course, some of the questions, unfortunately, I have to say we're getting out of our scope. It's a little bit what you're doing with our system, and if it's allowed in your market and by your legislation, you need to follow. HIPAA is, of course, a different story where you need to do different things or more consensus. So just head out dpo@3cx.com, and our guys will be more than happy to answer your questions if you have something in particular.
Yeah.
Classic Exchange integration is still there as it was before. Now we need to be honest about it. Microsoft is starting to make its way out of integration services in Exchange 2019, which is already deprecated. All Office 365 customers using services already now can't create them anymore. If you have it, it will be deleted by the end of the year. So our approach of overcoming it is for sure Office 365 and the service there. So for the time being, Microsoft makes the Exchange server on a sole function. You will see the functionality we have in the PBX for the time being, but do not expect, please, any more features coming to the service.
Yeah. Just seeing some more here.
SSL available in zip trunks. Now I'm saying something and I think the support guys won't be happy with me when I'm saying it. So technically speaking, yes, you could do so, which requires, of course, an importation of certificates of your providers and so on. But we're working, as Nick said, on a new DNS client in our PBX so that you have a much easier way to control if you want to connect to your VoIP provider in UDP, in TCP, or even then force going in TLS. To make the secure encryption until your VoIP provider. So please don't hammer my support guys for the time being. We're working on a solution which will be an easy clickable solution for everybody.
Perfect. I'm seeing a question, are there more IP phones added to version 16? No, but I'd like to say this in relation to that, is that we're working to completely redo the iPhone and the Android client, because we think the future really is smartphone clients, because really with a smartphone, you've got Wi-Fi, you've got all your Bluetooth devices, you can connect to it, and you can go anywhere in the office as long as you have good Wi-Fi. We really think that's the future. So of course we're going to be supporting IP phones, the ones that we have, and we're not excluding adding more IP phones, but I think resellers should really start realizing the potential of these smartphones, that many installations can actually work just fine with only smartphones.
Well, the question is 3CX going to offer a hosted platform for MSPs where we actually run cloud instances for it? I think our offering will end at our demoing service at 3 months. Otherwise, it would be a competition, and I think you are more closer to your customer. You have the full control, and it's all about control, and you know what's happening. And your customer also knows what is happening, because if there's a dark third person in the whole game and you don't know what they're doing, who is having the control, and I personally would not be happy with it. So it's all about keep the control. No, we won't host it.
I think also it's a big selling point of 3CX, because what we see a lot of our competitors do, trying to take them to their platform. The reality is that no one can compete with Google or Amazon. So basically you have an amazing platform there. 3CX partners, but also customers can use that platform. We definitely can't do it better than Amazon or Google, and we can deploy it for you there. We can manage it for you in Amazon or Google. That's really the future. So you have the best platform there, and also the prices of Google and Amazon these days, they're just amazing. And the Amazon Light Sale, an amazing platform, has some limitations, but very, very limited, these limitations. And for $5 you can run yourself a month, you can run 3CX. I mean, what more do you want?
Sean is asking something regarding the call control API. And as Nick mentioned in this presentation, we're working actually on something which is much more modern.
Okay. We still need we need a little bit more time to solidify that, to be able to answer that question.
But I think something which is more intuitive for everybody to use, especially if you run in the cloud, I would assume. Well, if I'm looking more or less over the questions, as I said before, they start repeating, so maybe you tuned in later. So I would advise, please look at the video in a later state. Maybe we do one more each to round our session today up.
We have Which ones?
So waiting for the best apps.
Deal registration protection. This is a sales related. You have that in a way because you can generate your own license keys, deploy it, and that key is linked to your partner account. So you have it already.
Perfect. I'm waiting for the best one towards the end of it.
So we definitely would like to encourage all the partners, 3CX partners, in your email signatures. You just put in the link, and you can easily add your partner ID to it, and then all the leads will be automatically linked to your account. And if the customer clicks on that link and downloads it, whatever, it's still linked to your account, your partner account, even if he buys later.
David Hart is server 2018-19 supported, yes, and I can tell you one of our own PBXs runs on 2019, so yes, we can do so.
Customer, you do all systems.
Works. Perfect.
Wire part is now having annual license instead of perpetual. Okay. Now the license, if you're a partner, you get the NFR licenses free of charge, and it's basically they're in place for as long as as you remain a partner. And we are switching as much as possible to annual license. It's really the modern way to sell software. It's just much more manageable for us, but also for our partners, and I think also for our customers. So we're trying to, move to the annual licensed subscription model.
Perfect. I think in the big extent we rounded up our Q&A session, and
I see again video calls for smartphone apps. We went there before, but again, just to say that we see the smartphone apps as a key selling feature for 3CX. So yes, we're adding video. Yes, we're making them much better. See, there's going to be a lot happening in the coming months for both the Android and the iOS version. I think you're going to see it. It's going to be an amazing client, and
Great. I think this is a great question to end the session regarding queue agents and permitting them to log in or to log out. There are multiple things we have on the roadmap for this, and one of them is logout with reason. So you need to tell why you're going, and then maybe only the ability for the queue supervisor to basically log your agent out on demand, but basically restricted due to profiles or rights within certain queues. Again, it's a little bit controllability over flexibility. Both need to work hand in hand, otherwise it cannot be used anymore.
Yeah. I think
skill-based routing I have answered just before.
A partner meet in Tampa I've seen here from one of our partners. Yes, that's something definitely we want to work on. It takes a little bit of organization. From Neil Rich, I've seen the question. So yeah, we'll definitely see if we can do that this year.
Perfect.
But I also would like to just mention we've created specifically a forum for our esteemed partners. It's limited to our titanium partners because otherwise it's just too many messages. But the idea here is that we, with product management, can actually spend a little bit more time on the questions there and have more direct communication with our partners. So please use this dedicated forum in the meantime. Of course, nothing is better than face-to-face, meeting someone face-to-face, but I think the forum is a great start. And of course, it's something we can do every day globally.
Interacting with our partners and premier customers.
Yeah.
Well, from my side, I think I would like to thank you everybody who took the time to watch the presentation, and of course our Q&A chat. And for sure you will have some more questions in the forum and the support team or to our sales department, customer service. So we're looking forward, and I hope you're all going to enjoy version 16 as much as we're doing it already.
Yeah.
And well, I would say.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the forums.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.